Good evening and welcome to Viewpoint. We have coverage ahead of the abortion referendum in 5 weeks' time. That's on the way. We'll speak to Professor Louise Kenny of the University of Liverpool and also to Rachel Mackenzie of Rachel's Vineyard. But first, Gibraltar's population is ageing. We're getting older. As we live longer, Alzheimer's disease and dementia will be the focus of increasing attention. Alzheimer's disease and dementia are characterized by a decline in cognitive function, severe enough to cause the loss of independence in daily function. The number of cases is projected to increase significantly, with implications not just for the patients, but also for their families and also for government support programs. I'm joined live in the studio by the chair of the Gibraltar Alzheimer's and Dementia Society. Many thanks for joining us, Daphne Alcantara.
Thank you for having me here.
Tell us first off, GADS is the abbreviation. Who are you?
Right. The actual Gibraltar Alzheimer's support group was formed in 2008 by a group of people who were really concerned about having people diagnosed with dementia and finding that there was absolutely nothing to guide them or to support them. And after that, when my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and vascular dementia, myself and my sister, we started to attend this support group and we realized that more needed to be done. So we decided to join them, we worked with them, and then we went further in deciding that we would join the committee. And from there on, really, what was a support group, we decided to work and to change from support group and to become a society.
So your life was touched by these conditions and you sort of know firsthand the impact that it can have on families?
Definitely, definitely. And obviously at the time, we're talking about maybe 2009, 2010, like I say, there was very little, at least in our case, we knew nothing about dementia. And people that we spoke to didn't know either. And what we decided was that there needed to be more awareness, there needed to be more understanding. And as I was saying before, by becoming a society, we become members now of the ADI, which is the Alzheimer's Disease International. And this is a global network which allows us to keep very much in touch with what is happening worldwide and be able to get that kind of information and guidance and bringing that over here to Gibraltar. Yes. Okay,
well, we're going to talk in great detail, I think, about what is available in Gibraltar, what GADS thinks needs to improve in order to improve the care that can be afforded to people who are living with dementia and their families. That there might be somebody watching Viewpoint tonight who might have dementia and doesn't know it.
Precisely, and that is really what talking about dementia is, for some people, it's very difficult, and even maybe coming to terms that a person or a family member might have dementia is quite, unacceptable in many families. But one has to realize that the sooner that, if you get an early diagnosis, the sooner that you know really why you're doing certain things or why your character might be changing, if you actually go to a professional, you would actually get to know, to a GP, would refer you for further assessment, and then it would be able to evaluate whether you have dementia or you might not really. So it is important, for people who might be watching, that if they're in doubt, really, to either contact GADS and we can actually just give them some advice and some support, or to go and ask and speak to their GP.
Tell us a little bit about the work that GADS does. I mean, we're going to hear a little bit about the investment that you've made in sort of providing the things that people need physically, like beds and the such. But what else? Because there is this community feel to the work that you do.
Yeah. Well, the first priority that GADS has is actually raising public and professional awareness. I think that is extremely important, that in order you've just seen the clip, there is no cure for dementia, but what is important, that life doesn't end when dementia begins. So really, if as a community, professionals, social care, the community, everybody works together to try and better understand what it is to live with dementia, we can certainly make life a lot easier for the person that is diagnosed and also for the families and for the carers. And what we did is, a few years back, apart from what we say, which we can explain later, that we buy things for you know, for the care homes, etc. But we decided to set up what was like a fidget craft session, and we started doing these fidget blankets at Bishop Canilla house. Well,
what's the thinking?
It was actually that it's a blanket, but it has different tiles and different items can be sewn onto it, because you will realize that in most cases somebody with dementia, they will be very fidgety with their hands, and that was something that would give them comfort. And whilst they were, like, you know, touching the blanket, or it was a muff in some cases, it would give them that piece of, you know, tranquility, really. So we started working, but what really became as a project to do blankets turned out that it was more a community work, because we had people coming in, they would be bringing us buttons and materials. Then we found some people coming in because they were living alone, they had no one to talk to. So it was really, you know, it was something that was very rewarding, because people were making things for people living with dementia, but at the same time, they themselves were getting great benefit by coming to join us. It was every Tuesday. Unfortunately, we'd been at Bishop Canilla for 6 years, and just, you know, just like that, we received a letter that we could say, evicted from Bishop Canilla.
You're not currently there?
No, unfortunately we're not. We received this letter in the PO box. We didn't even get a telephone call from housing. It was just a letter telling us that because GADS had been allocated premises at the old Naval Hospital, that we had been at Bishop Canilla. This is what they said in their letter, that we had been at Bishop Canilla on a temporary basis. You know, we'd been there 6 years. I don't know how much that was temporary. And that we had to vacate Bishop Canilla. Then it was because they were going to refurbish the place. And we were really astonished, you know, because overnight we found that people who had been coming on a weekly basis, you know, people, like I said, who were living alone, who were sharing their own experiences with us, we found that we just had to cut short what we were doing. And unfortunately, we tried to get, you know, the housing department to allow us to go back to Bishop Canilla. That was not the case. And as silly as it may sound, you know, we had to take this up with the Chief Minister. And gladly he did, you know, agree with us, you know, that having been allocated at premises had nothing to do
with your outreach
what we
work.
found was, you know, and maybe I shouldn't be saying it, with the good work that we were doing, not just for people with dementia, but very much, you know, for people in the community. Yeah,
well, you don't have to say it. I mean, I think that in various places in preparing this program, I've seen the government say that the community is indebted to the work that GADS do. So it's not you saying it.
I know it's not nice for us to say it, no? But the fact is that this happened in 2018.
Yeah.
We are now in February 2020, and still we have not returned, you know, after many assurances, after many promises that once the works would be finished, we would be going back. The works have been done, good work has been done. We're still waiting.
So you're hoping to get back there soon and to
because
continue?
what we've found is that ladies, I mean, we also had gentlemen coming, but ladies who were coming to us, and they're now they're living in Charles Brousson House, they actually doing this type of work there in those homes, no? But we find that it is not a question of why has it got to be Bishop Canilla, but the fact is that Bishop Canilla is so well situated. You know, it's a perfect place. It has wheelchair access, and it is a place which we considered home as well. And it's a place that was built for everybody. And we can only say that there is absolutely no reason why we haven't gone back to Bishop Canilla yet.
Okay, well, we look forward to an update from you on that soon.
So.
Hopefully with some good news. I hope I'll get a call tomorrow. The government has said that dementia is a public health and social priority. We know that there's a strategy. We'll talk about that before, but it speaks to them wanting very similar things to the society, no? And it's just a question of trying to. It's not like that you're at loggerheads or anything.
No,
you're working together on a lot of projects.
Not at all. I mean, we have to say that, and you know, basically, like I said, back in 2010, 2011, there was absolutely nothing for dementia. Likewise, like you've mentioned that government have really had good words for GADS, we can say the same thing. We have worked very well with the present administration. And when we talk about the strategy, we have worked together in making this strategy. And so we're not at loggerheads at all. You know, we have really laid the foundations and lots of things have been done. But likewise, there are still many things that still need to be done.
Talk to us a little bit about Dementia Friends, which is an initiative which, if your vision can be carried out, would build resilience across the community, help us to be better prepared to help to identify somebody who might be living with dementia and be able to better respond to their needs. Yeah,
Dementia Friends is an Alzheimer's Society initiative, and this was launched as well with the support of government. It was launched in 2017. And really becoming a dementia friend is really just learning 5 key messages which people can come to. We give Dementia Friends a presentation, and it's worked to better understand what it is to live with dementia. It's nothing medical to do with the Dementia Friends. It's actually putting yourself in the shoes of the person who has been diagnosed with dementia and their families and their carers, and the simple things that we can do as a community, as a business, to make life so much better.
Give us an example.
And I'll give you an example. For example, firstly, people with dementia, we've got to encourage them to keep on being as independent as possible, to keep on doing the things that they've always liked to do. And for example, they will still carry on going to the same shop or to the supermarket to buy their own things. And if we, for example, make Dementia Friends in shops, Dementia Friends in the supermarket, we could find that, for example, we could have one of the aisles, one of the cashiers, it could be a slow aisle. So people who actually queue at that aisle will knowing that they might take longer for the person in front of them to pay. You might find that the person might be struggling with the coins that they have to pay, you know. So be patient, be more understanding. And in shops, for example, we can give an example here. There's this lady who regularly goes to the market to buy always the same fruit or the same veg, you know. Now, they know her, but sometimes she gets confused with the money that she has to pay.
She's living with dementia?
She's living with dementia. And the shop owner knows her and also knows the family. So really, he's already become a dementia friend, and what he does is he will take, if it says £5 and she just gives her 50 pence, he will take it and then he will inform the family, Mira, your mother came in today and she took veg that was £5, so you owe me the £4.50. Simple things, you know, a bus driver that usually sees the same people going on the bus, being more friendly, being more compassionate.
Aware of where they need to get off.
But it's important as well for businesses to become dementia friends, because contrary to what many people think, dementia is not a consequence of getting old.
Sure.
And we would find as well that there are younger people being affected with early onset dementia, and they still might be working. And by having a better understanding of what it is to live with dementia, you could actually allow your workmates to continue working, you know, by being more sympathetic and understanding, because life doesn't end when dementia begins. You know?
It's often said that Gibraltar is a close-knit community, but that example of the public market and calling the family, I mean, that's lovely. That's really touched, you know, yeah, it's very touching. It's what you'd want Gibraltar.
But that is what Gibraltar is proud of, you know. But I think that we're not getting more people doing that, because people have a misconception of dementia. They think that once you've had dementia, there is nothing that can be done. Basically because of the focus that there is no cure for dementia, but there are so many things that can be done to make life a lot better for anybody that's been diagnosed.
Okay, so the position of the society is that you'd prefer individuals living with dementia to be at home for as long as possible.
Definitely.
But sometimes, or with time, it might be necessary for them to enter a residential care home. Let's do a review, if we can, of what's available in Gibraltar, which ones you think are working well, which ones could be improved. So we're talking about care homes and beds. Let's start with Bella Vista, the Dementia Day Centre, which is, I suppose, before before you need a residential bed, somewhere that somebody with dementia could go to receive some treatment and learn to better live with the condition.
Well, the Bella Vista is really has been like one of the biggest ticks in the box that we've had for people living with dementia. And I do agree what you've just said. You know, it is encouraging to keep people with dementia for as long as possible living in their own environment and living at home. We never had a day centre like this. Now we have a centre where we can cater for about 90 people can go daily to the Bella Vista. At the moment, we've got between 60 and 70, and there they will spend the day. But it's not just helping them in the sense that they are able to do activities and therapies, but at the same time, the respite that we're giving to the families.
Right.
Because they can carry on doing more or less, for example, daughters, sons who are caring for their mother or the father can carry on working, or a wife can carry on having a coffee with a friend, or simply staying at home and having some respite. And it is
makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference, because it's very tiring as well to care for somebody 24/7. But we have to go back to the Bella Vista and say that it is thanks to the people of Gibraltar, to the generosity, because that Bella Vista has been funded by the people of Gibraltar through GADS. You know, the amount of money that came in for when we approached, companies and individuals. And in recognition, some of the rooms have been named after the companies. For example, there is one that is the GBC room, But because people could understand that there was a real need to have a day centre. The centre, I think, works very well. There's even a dedicated transport service. But what we would like to see in the centre is we need professionals, because we've got the carers, but we should see a full-time OT, full-time physiotherapist, a full-time speech and language therapist, because the input that these professionals will bring with the good work that is already being done by the team at Bella Vista would actually complement in making life so much more worthwhile for the person with dementia.
Okay, very nearby, Hillsides residential care home can accommodate, I think, up to 52 patients, dementia patients.
Yeah, we have 52 beds there, of which 8 are for respite. That is another tick in the box that we didn't have before, that we have been able to achieve with the government, and that is that now we have beds. People before would have to wait over a year to get some respite, and now that is being offered at Hillsides. Hillsides has been purposely built for people with dementia, and it is completely dementia friendly. It's an excellent residential.
And that's where you're based?
We're based beside, GADS House is just beside. Again, there's one thing that we would add, like we would add to the Bella Vista, is...
You always have to look for...
We always have to look, but it's something that we've always been advocating for, and that is that the entrance to Bella Vista, or when you leave Bella Vista as well, the entrance and exit is very dangerous. We're in the Europa Road at a bend, and the same as we succeeded in having a pelican crossing outside Bella Vista. I think it is also important that we have taken this up with the administration, and it is important that there should be a more safe crossing, not only for the residents, but very much so for the families and the people who work at Hillsides.
Okay, John Mackintosh home or wing on Lower Castle Road?
Yep, that as well was
good facilities there.
Yes, 70 beds. That was also purposely built for dementia. It was built with 54 beds, but the lower floor is now known as the Jewish home, because at some point they closed the Jewish home. My understanding is that I think they were going to start building that home again, and on the lower floor we have 12 beds and another 5 for respite. So again, it is purposely built for dementia.
That's great. Mount Alvernia is a large facility, cares for a lot of elderly people. How many of them would be dementia patients, do you know?
Well, at one point, the Mount Alvernia, which is the oldest, it was at one point, it was the only care home in Gibraltar. So it was always a care home. It was not really for dementia. Then the second floor became, exclusively, we could say, for dementia residents. But because we're seeing the number of dementia cases increasing, today there are dementia patients in every floor in Mont Nia. I would think, and maybe I stand to be corrected, but over 70% of the residents will have dementia.
And overall, we should say, how many people are living with dementia in Gibraltar?
Well,
not just at Mount Alvernia, but across the community.
We don't get regular statistics, but statistics given to us in March 2019, we were given that there were 449 people diagnosed. 449 diagnosed with dementia, of which 230 were living in the community.
More than half of them then?
More than half, precisely.
Right.
But then there is that big question mark, is that how many people have dementia and are not aware that
haven't
they
been
might
diagnosed.
Have it. Precisely.
Sure. So St Bernard's, before we go to the hospital, Mount Alvernia then needs more care to make it more dementia
apart from Mount Alvernia, we also have Galbe and Cochrane ward in St Bernard's. And neither of these three establishments, we could say, are fully dementia friendly. So what we started working with government last year was that as donations and sponsorship came in, that we would work to try and bring, Mont Alvernia, Galbe and Cochrane to the same standards as Hillsides and John Macwing. And we've worked very well up to now, in the sense that the government actually changed the kitchen at Mont Alvernia, and we supplied all the furniture for the dining room, the main dining room. We also supplied the second floor dining room, and recently we bought 30 beds for the second floor of Mont Alvernia, and we will continue to buy what is needed for Mont Alvernia because the funds are there. But we need to see that, likewise, the same as we are buying this, for beds or night tables, we need government as well to have a plan. And they themselves, the floors need to be changed, the bathrooms need to be changed. And it is necessary that they need to have a planning of logistically how this is going to be done,
Because you wouldn't do it while patients are...
Of course, it is difficult to do it. And I mean, we've met with the new Minister for Health, Minister Balvang, and we have taken this matter up with him only 2 weeks ago, because we feel that it is extremely important that this is done as soon as possible, because dementia cannot wait.
Sure. So let's move to government's dementia strategy, Daphne. What are the most important points that you think the government needs to work on in that strategy?
First of all, I mean, we've worked in conjunction with government in getting the strategy done. The first one was done in 2015, and this one was launched last year. But first and foremost is that we need to see the National Dementia Committee, because until that is established, we can't go forward,
Right.
So that is the most important thing in the strategy.
So the strategy calls for a committee, but that hasn't been established.
It hasn't been established, It has identified departments and who should be, but it has not been established.
Hasn't sat.
Not at all, of which GADS will be, a representative GADS will form part of the strategy, of the committee. That for us is key. That is the most important. That and the employment of a dementia coordinator and a dementia link person. Because understandably, dementia...
Has that happened?
No, none of it. I mean, at the moment, what we have is a paper with very good ideas, which has been really thought about, and it shows that it is an integrated strategy where you will have the public, the social services and the community, everybody working together.
Talks about government adapting its own government rental homes in order to make them more dementia friendly.
Yeah, and also, the hospital itself has to become completely as well dementia friendly, because if you get it right for dementia, you will get it right for so many other things. But the strategy I would say, is very good. But at the moment, until we don't start by seeing and sitting together as a committee and working together, we can't go forward. Really.
A classic case of getting the right heads around the table to
But it needs to be done. I mean, like I said, we've done many things. We have actually laid the foundations. But we also get to a point that sometimes things just take too long to be done.
Good. Well, I'm sure that's one of the reasons why the society achieves things, because you know what needs to be done, and you work towards getting it done.
And we don't give up, and we keep on pushing, because the things that we're asking for is not something which is not. It's impossible. It's already there. So let's start working with it, because what I've just said, dementia doesn't wait. Let's start working, let's start working in changing Mont Nia. Let's start working on the strategy. Let's get the committee working. Those things have to be done now.
You spoke earlier about how many people might be living with dementia without knowing it in the community. One of the things, again, that the strategy calls for is 5 yearly health checks for anyone over the age of 40. Which would maybe help with the early diagnosis, which you said is so important.
I think, it is important that as well that we get GPs, probably just to include a check for dementia as part of a regular health check, really. And then it is up to the individual whether they want to have it or not, really. But it's all forward planning, because we keep saying that the numbers are going up, but it's better to know exactly what are the real numbers and not have those question marks of how many people can have it, and we or they are not aware that they've got it.
I think we all want our loved ones to be cared for as best possible, and we're talking about numbers increasing, number of dementia patients. So we need more investment, presumably, in the future. Do you think that the government is cognizant of this? Are they aware that they are going to need more to put aside more money to deal with dementia?
Well, since 2014, we have been asking for a dementia fund. And we believe because there is no cure, because the numbers will continue to increase, the same as the numbers will continue to increase, so will the costs. So we need to start investing in putting money into a fund today, because we might find that this, will take over and the costs can get to unsustainable levels, and we should be prepared for that. We as GADS, we believe that there should be a specific budget for dementia.
This is a really interesting topic, Daphne, and I hope that Viewpoint can discuss it with you again in greater detail, or continue the conversation, if you like, soon. But if there's one thought that you'd like our viewers to stay with tonight, what would it be?
Well, really to see dementia as a condition, that life doesn't end when dementia begins, and to get in touch with us. I would like to finish off by encouraging viewers to get in touch with GADS, and businesses to get in touch with GADS, and for them to find out more what it is to live with dementia and to become Dementia Friends.
Okay, well, hopefully the next time we speak to you, you'll tell us about the many new Dementia Friends that you've managed to establish.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daphne Alcantara, chairperson of the Gibraltar Alzheimer's and Dementia Society.
Thank you.
You're watching Viewpoint. In part 2, we've got 2 interesting extended interviews on abortion. Stay with us.